Welcome our TALKSHOw viewers. Today we're at the Bloemfontein campus at the University of Free State. Guys, very cool today, guys. It's very important that you buy heaters, you buy clothes in Futumale, guys. There's no other way. Keep it safe, keep it healthy. And with the COVID-19 saga, just keep yourself safe, guys. Today, guys, we'll be discussing the power of young women in leadership. And today we're with Miss Pam, who's the primeship of House Madeliv. Good afternoon. How are you, ma'am?
Good afternoon. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good, ma'am. When you enter in our space, when you enter in a room, who do we receive? Who do we see?
Honestly, I think you receive a very humble, very quiet, but at the same time very analytic, very shy, very how can I put it? Yeah, I think I'm a very quiet person, but at the same time very outspoken, but when needed. So yeah, it's that girl.
Okay.
Yeah, that girl.
Let's come to this thing of power and leadership. As we know, in the olden days, there were certain forms of inequalities between men and women in terms of opportunities in leadership, in terms of the corporate space, the business world, the career-wise. So most women will expect women to be housemakers or to be part of that.
Yeah.
So now there's a drastic change from those times up until now, and I feel like interviewing a young person who's in a form of a leadership. And what's your take on that? What caused this drastic change? See much more of women occupying positions in leadership.
I would say that it's because women are very capable. You know, they're very capable. As much as men will always put in the forefront because, you know, they represent power, masculinity, this, that. But I think over time, it just goes to show that women are capable and sometimes even more than a man.
Okay.
You know, so I think the drastic change came when women also, you know, chose to be like, you know what, as much as a man can do this, I can also do it. You understand? I don't need a man to tell me that I can do it or I can't. I can do it on my own type of thing. So yeah, it just goes to show that women are also capable and even more than men in some instances.
So do you also believe that in terms of leadership purposes, for you to become in a leadership position, is it a natural thing, or one has to be groomed, obtain a certain form of skills and a training, an artificial training or something, or is something that you're born with? Because I feel like not everybody is in a leadership position. Not everybody is a prime or capable of becoming a prime.
Yeah.
Do you think or believe that everyone and anyone could become a leader?
No, not everyone can become a leader.
Okay.
If you can't become a leader, that's when you are groomed to become a leader.
Okay.
Some people are born to be leaders, whether they like it or not.
Yes.
Like myself, for instance. Can I take you through my journey?
Yes, no problem.
It started when I was in probably grade 5 or 6, right? I was appointed as the Scholar Patrol captain. Scholar Patrol is, you know, stop, go, cars, you know, you have those signs where, you know, it seems like a very silly thing, but from that time on, I was just empowered to always, you know, not to say be dominant and you know, but I was always motivated to lead because they saw the potential in me. You know, the teachers saw potential, my peers saw potential. So from grade 6 until now, I've always been a leader. Always.
The thing is motivation. A lot of people struggle with motivation. A lot of people struggle with inspiration, and they look for external things to inspire them and motivate them. And then here you find yourself that you are saying that you are motivated by your own self. Like, I feel like you didn't see something outside the world there to push you to do whatever that you're doing. It just clicks. You click in your heels and everything happens. So the magic behind it, what's the magic behind it?
It's literally from within.
Okay.
I don't want to lie, it's from within. I didn't read 100 books and watched 50 videos and listened to 10 podcasts in order to be the person that I am or the type of leader that I am today. It literally just it's from within.
And
that's why I'm like, sometimes whether I like it or not, I always just find myself as a leader, because it's just there, it's within me.
Have you ever realized something when it comes to, I love this part when you're saying, whether you like it or not, you are there, you're a leader. And I feel like there were points, I don't know whether, have you ever experienced it as well? There are points whereby you see yourself like you can step away from leadership, but then if you step away from leadership, you suffer. Like it's like you can always do something.
Things don't make sense.
Things don't make sense. But when you're in leadership, things make sense when you're alive.
Absolutely.
So, but leadership is difficult.
Yeah.
Too much responsibility and accountability. Yeah. How are you managing now to being a prime ship? Because I feel like in House Madeleine, I feel like there are more than 100 students who are staying there. How are you managing a race of 100 plus students, including the institution, integrating the institution, integrating it with the students that are staying in your residence?
Honestly, it's all in the mind, Okay. I before I even stepped in, I told myself, I had a conversation with myself that no matter what, I will make it. I won't end my term and look back and say, I don't ever want to be a leader again. I was very intentional. So the will, the drive, and also taking into consideration my capabilities, I was like, you know what? I got this. Okay. I literally didn't have to, again, watch videos, read books. I just told myself, it's all in the mind. I can do this. You understand? No matter what I come across, I literally can do it.
Failure. Let's come to failure. Eventually, at the end of the day, as leaders, we fail in a way. We fail maybe in our communication with our colleagues. We fail in various aspects of life. So how do you deal with failure? And you can now wait to being a prime or name 2 things that you have already failed in. Possibly, but then you manage to counteract the effects. Or now in another form of leadership that you've participated in. But then now we are much more better from that, because we need to know your struggle. We need to know your suffering so that we can learn from that.
I think in most instances, you might think that, I have everything under control,
yes.
And sometimes I don't. So I think I failed at a certain point where I thought, you know what, I have every single thing under control. But I had to come to terms with the fact that in order to actually have things under control, I need to actually acknowledge the fact that, you know what, this is what I can do and this is what I can't do.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. So I've learned to delegate duties.
So for example,
yeah.
You know the things that you can do and you know the things that you can't do. From the can't do part, how well do you trust yourself as an individual that, am I putting a limit on myself, or you know that you're an elastic bender, you know we can stretch up until to this point. So which is which there?
In a human sense, you can't stretch yourself too far. You will snap. You will burn out. You will, So in order to keep going, sometimes you have to take a step back and say that, you know what, acknowledge the fact that I can't do this as a person. I acknowledge, I think I failed as well to take acknowledgement in the fact that there are things that I can do and I can't do, and I failed to actually sit with people who I knew they can help, that, you know what, please help me with 1, 2, 3. It used to be a struggle because I thought in my head that being a prime means being a superhero.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So in the things that I can't do, it's almost like, you know what, let me rather focus on the things that I can do, and what I can't do, let me rather delegate these things that I can't do to people who I think can do these things. Because you can't do everything as a person. You can't. Yes, you can be a jack of all trades, but you cannot do every single thing. You will snap very quickly.
You'll end up breaking down.
It
comes to a point of separating a leader who's delegating and a leader who's autocratic. Leaders who want everything to just go. I'm on top, everybody climbs on top. Let's come to primeship. You're the prime of House Madeleine. And how are you? Can you just name 2 things that you are currently tackling that you see as an issue amongst all of the 100 students that currently now you're working on top of? Like 2 issues that you can name that this one is difficult, this one, but then I'm trying, I'm moving.
I think, when a lot of people live in the same space, they share the same space,
Yes.
but they all have 100 different personalities.
Okay, yeah.
Something that I've been trying to tackle is bringing them all to a common ground, a common understanding that, yes, you are 100 different people, but you share a common space. So this is how things should be in order to accommodate the next individual.
Okay.
You understand? So that's something that I've been trying. Myself and the team have been trying to maneuver around how do we try to make people understand that you have a next door neighbor, you have people that you live around, you don't live alone. You understand? So I think what I've been doing best is sitting down and having conversations about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's issue number 1.
Okay.
And number 2, that is actually the only, the biggest one that I can say that I've been faced with. Other than that, everything
is under control.
No, it's moving. You're cruising, honestly.
Guys, it's cold. I'm shaking, guys. I'm so sorry. The thing, let's come to your relation with other leadership structures. Might be the SRC, it might be the other primes and other residences. The relationship, the positive part of it and the negative part of it, if there might be a negative part of it. So how has been your experience thus far as you have entered into leadership position? Your experience with other leaders.
Okay. With other leaders, it's always different. It differs. If it's a male, if it's a female, it differs. So my experience has been it's been a roller coaster, to be honest, because different people will approach you in different manners, or it's either they'll accept you or they'll not accept you. Will they listen to you when you have a conversation with them? But in most instances, especially this year, I've just been blessed to meet people directly who are actually very intentional about their positions, and they plan to make a lot of changes, and very intentional individuals in their houses. Yeah.
One of the questions that I've been asking myself was as a prime, because as a prime you have to be elected by people, and there has to be that form of charisma, that attraction. So do you think and believe that beauty plays a role in a way?
It does.
Okay.
It does. It really does. But also, people, it depends now that, yes, you're beautiful, but the minute you open your mouth, who's listening? Is anybody listening? You understand? It does play a role, but you can't be led by just a beautiful face.
Yes. Beauty with brains.
You need a beauty with brains. Otherwise, the house will burn down.
It will burn down.
It will burn down. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say some second or last question. If a young person is probably looking at this and in grade 4 or 5, and they want to see themselves wearing a blazer, might be a different one, might be the same one, might be in a different space of leadership, what can you say to them? They are struggling with understanding themselves, but they're in leadership and they're breaking down at some point. What can you say to that particular person who's growing, and then therefore his leadership growth is exponential compared to yours or mine, or compared to anyone, but they're there at the peak, but they are breaking at a younger age? What can you say to that person?
I'd say that they should just take a moment, take some time, if needed, more than enough time, to just step back and introspect. Because sometimes we go on about life as if we are on a hamster wheel. We just going on and on and on, and we don't reflect, we don't introspect, and it's such things that make you break down, because you don't recall, what actually brought me to this point? What actually made me or led me to this breaking point? You understand? So just step back and try to introspect and see, what got me to this point? And then challenge yourself to be like, you know what? If these are the things that actually made me break down, I'm no longer going to focus on them, and then just rather focus on things that actually improve you. You understand? And also try to challenge yourself not to take everything upon yourself. That's just one of the most important things. If you feel that, you know what, yes, I want to be in leadership this year, but you could be in the most not the highest position. You don't have to always be in the highest position to consider yourself a leader. You understand? So I think, taking some time, introspecting, and then just going back into the whole leadership, any structure after you've actually spoken to yourself, because it's very important. Because if you don't know yourself, you won't know the type of leader that you are, and you won't know the type of constituencies that you're leading, and you won't know what you're doing. You won't. So it's very important. It's very important to know it. That's why my word is intentional. Be very intentional in what you're doing. So if you feel that now you're starting to lose drive and just step back, reflect, take some time off if needed, and then.
But the thing of stepping back, yes, as much as it's about us, your inner thing or calling, there's also what we call the world. Sometimes stepping, let's say for now, you step down as the prime of house Madilif. Are you aware, the world part of it, and it's also gonna add to the crushing pressure on you as an individual. Okay, I'm stepping back because of this and this and that. But then the world, the question, Pam, out of the blue. So handling the world part in leadership.
I think even before you step into leadership, you must understand that I'm a person before being a leader. Right now, I'm a student leader, but I'm a student before being a leader. You understand? So before you even try to fully go into leadership, understand that you are human. You are bound to make mistakes. You are bound to have a few breakdowns. You are bound to make decisions that are difficult. But at the end of the day, you have to consider yourself first. As much as, yes, you are serving people, you are helping people and everything, but you need to consider yourself first if you feel that you are at a point where you're breaking down or something. Yeah.
So, guys, can you just give us I have a lot of questions for you due to time. But I would love to respect time. Maybe we might possibly by end of this year do an episode 2 based on your experience as a prime.
As a prime, yeah.
Yes. Can you just give us a closing statement and in terms of leadership and in terms of leadership as a whole, a closing statement on that?
Nobody's ever asked me that, but at the top of my head now, as a closing statement, I'd say that don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's all in the mind. Literally, in anything and everything that you want to do in life, don't be afraid. It's all in the mind.
You're making me emotional.
Literally. I started, sorry, I'm going to be very quick. I started doing boxing, right? I started doing boxing. I need to try to find ways to de-stress. So boxing is one of the ways. I gym, box. And one of the things that I learned in boxing is that life is a deck of cards. You will get handed cards and you don't know which card you'll be handed, but you need to deal with that card. Get it over and done with and move on. And you will get another card and another card. But deal with the card that you're given. Get it over and done with and move on. Literally. So that's my closing statement.
You're making me emotional because whenever you speak like this, because I also occupied certain forms of leadership positions and it's not nice. The part of glamour of it, the part of being there at the top, I can see, and the responsibility part of it. But then there are these difficult things that we go through as leaders, and nobody sees them. No. The behind doors part of it, we are crying, breaking down. But when you step in front of people, it's all do you understand? When you speak like this, I'm getting reflections of my experience. But then, guys, we'll be creating a second episode. We'll be interviewing Pam. Second semester, guys, we'll be digging in deeper to her experience as a prime in 2021.
Can only be a prime once.
This COVID-19 is disturbing our dates, guys. It's disturbing dates and years. But then, guys, comment there on the comment section. You'll find us on Instagram. You'll find us on Facebook. You'll also find us on YouTube. Comment there, guys. Share, guys. We'd like to hear your views and your opinions. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. This was so exciting.